All right, let's take a look at y'all's notes for today. So you're going to complete these notes by going through a Nearpod. You will go through this whole Nearpod, and there will be places in the Nearpod where it shows you to write the notes down. In your warm-up for today, you would have seen this page of your notes. This should go on page 2. And this is like 3 sayings that we say a ton in class. It's something you need to memorize. So what we always say is we say convergent collide, convergent collide. I would make you do this a million times and you would be able to do it in your sleep. You would say convergent collide, divergent divide, divergent divide, transform slip and slide, transform slip and slide. So, trust me, if you're watching this, you need to do this with me one time. All right, convergent collide, divergent divide, divergent divide, transform slip and slide, transform slip and slide. All right, so I have that on page 2. That's all that I have on page 2. That's it, nothing else. Let me show you how you make the notes for page 3. These are going to be your notes. Well, these are going to be the notes you work on for 2 days. So to make these flaps, all I did, let me go to a new page. All I did was I took this page and I folded it back to the spiral part of the notebook, and I folded it down, and then I made 2 cuts so that I had 3 flaps. So take a page 3, fold it back against the spiral, and then make 1 cut here and 1 cut here, so that in the end, you have 3 different flaps. All right, today, we are only going to talk about this flap, the convergent flap. So I just want to explain it in a little more detail than in the Nearpod. If we are looking at the first picture, it says OC. This is for the different type of crust, which you should have learned about in the Nearpod. O stands for oceanic, C stands for continental. So this is when we have a convergent collide plate boundary where we have oceanic and continental crust. Oceanic is ocean crust, continental is land crust. The crust that continents are on. All right, so when these 2 plates collide, one plate, the oceanic, goes underneath the continental crust. It's called subduction. Think of a submarine. It dives down. When that happens, there's this V shape that's left between those 2 plates, and that forms a trench. A trench is a very, very deep crack in the crust. It's a V-shaped deep crack. So think about, the fish, like on Finding Nemo with the light on his head, they live way down here. In the picture, it looks like it's small, but we're talking thousands of feet in the ocean deep. So total darkness. A trench only forms if we have subduction or one plate going under another. When this plate subducts, so yes, it's blue here, it looks like it's just water, but we know that underneath the ocean, there is land, there's sand, there's a ground, there's a bottom. So when that subducts or goes down into the mantle, it's going into magma, so it's going to melt. There's going to be a buildup of magma right here, and it's going to come back up and out the land as a volcano. So let me say that again. This plate goes down. There is extra magma here because it's melting. So we're getting rid of this part of the land. Therefore, new land will be made. It's going to come back up in the form of a volcano. So we are making new land here. All right, this one is oceanic. So we have 2 ocean plates colliding. And a lot of times students don't realize this happens. Yes, this happens. That's how we get islands or volcanic islands. So one oceanic plate subducts, remember, goes down like a submarine underneath the other one. That creates this V shape, which is a trench, a really deep crack in the crust. And you have extra magma because that plate is coming down and it's melting in the mantle. So it's going to come back up in the form of a volcano. Over time, that volcano builds up and builds up and builds up, and it makes it out of the water because at first it's underwater. You should have seen a really good video on this in your Nearpod. I think it's really cool. But eventually it gets big enough that it's out of the water and we have a volcanic island. Okay, last one. This is convergent continental. So we have two land plates that are colliding. Do you see subduction? No. Nobody is going down. No one's subducting neither of the plates because they are both strong land plates. They are applying equal force. So instead, they uplift. They go up. So they are uplifting, which creates mountains. Uplifting, which creates mountains. So underneath your flat, you should have written the definition for subduction when one plate goes under another. So I have one plate going under. Uplift, that's when the two plates go up. It's like they're battling. That's what I think of. So that's why it creates mountains. And then these are the land features that I just talked through. So OC, we get trench and volcanic mountains. OO, we get trench and volcanic islands. CC, we get mountains. So one way to remember is you only get a volcano if you have subduction. You have to have a plate that's going into the mantle and melting, giving you extra crust in order to get a volcano. Or giving you extra magma in order to get a volcano. There's a buildup and it has to be released. Tomorrow we are going to learn the next two plate boundaries. So when I first started this video, I showed you convergent collide. There's two other types of hand signals we do for convergent or memory tricks. I'm telling you, if you do this at home, then when you take the test, you will be sitting there like, I see it all the time. I see it every year. So anyways, other two hand tricks are, we have uplift. It doesn't sound as cool as convergent collide, but uplift and subduction. Uplift and subduction. So that is what you need to know about convergent boundaries. Tomorrow we will learn about the next two boundaries.